He's a New York Times best-selling author. He's written 10 books, and he also has a passion for a game.
The first time I played hockey, it was a religious experience. I just loved it. I just loved the speed, I loved the team play, I loved the physics of it. You know, not a lot of people take up hockey at 48. The key to my success is I'm willing to grind it out.
The dedication that Guy Kawasaki puts into his lunchtime hobby is the same devotion that's brought him success in 3 careers in Silicon Valley. He's currently most widely known as the author of books like Enchantment and The Art of the Start. In the world of venture capital investing, he's known as one of the co-founders of Garage Technologies. And 25 years ago, the charismatic salesman introduced Apple computers to the world through a new style of marketing: evangelism.
So our job was to convince software companies and hardware companies to create products before this platform truly exists, zero installed base, lousy tools, to just, join our sort of religion.
Guy Kawasaki grew up on the island of Oahu. He was the second child of a state senator who represented the suburbs of Honolulu. The Kawasaki family emphasized education.
Back in those days, if you're an Asian American, your parents want you to either be a doctor, a lawyer, or a dentist.
He went to UCLA for his MBA, but the most valuable lesson he learned was making connections. Kawasaki's start in business came from a classmate that needed some part-time help counting diamonds.
Jewelry is an intensive business on how to sell. And to this day, I think many people underappreciate the value of knowing how to sell. And what tech entrepreneurs have a difficult time understanding is they think that the hard part of starting a tech company is making the widget or making the software. Not to say that this is easy, but really the hard part is selling the software or selling the widget.
Another friend from UCLA was Mike Boych, who worked with Apple Computers. In 1983, Mike showed Guy a preview of a new product that Apple was working on, the first Macintosh. Even though he had never taken a computing class in his life, Guy fell in love with the product and recognized that it was going to be revolutionary. He was hired by Apple's marketing director, Mike Murray, to be the company's software evangelist.
He didn't want people to go out and sell Macintoshes to developers. He wanted someone who would go out and proselytize them, to evangelize them, to enchant them, to sell the dream of creating great software that would empower people who could never use a personal computer before to use a personal computer.
The sales pitch emphasized the greater meaning behind a product. Instead of convincing people to buy your widget, you were actually convincing them to join your cause. He eventually became an Apple Fellow for marketing during some of Apple's darkest years. By 1997, though, Silicon Valley was fully in its economic boom. The internet was going mainstream, and venture capital investments were a $4 billion business. Guy thought the time was right to start his second career.
No matter how hard you work at Apple, no matter how righteous you think you are and how challenged you think you are, really, when you're out from the mothership, that's where you separate the men from the boys or the women from the girls.
I wanted to be rich. An entrepreneur has a very difficult time getting through to a venture capitalist or an angel investor because of the sheer number of people they're competing with. There's a lot of manure to go through.
During its first 5 years, Garage helped 100 startups raise nearly $400 million in investments, and Guy Kawasaki met with a lot of young entrepreneurs.
In college, you think everything is a science. The older you get, the more you realize that, man, it's just people.
Advising young entrepreneurs led Guy to his third career as an author and speaker. He'd published a few marketing books during his time with Apple, but Guy's philosophy went mainstream in 2004 with the publication of what is now recognized as the Startup Bible, The Art of the Start.
The one thing that everybody, I don't know, everybody's a strong word, remembers from Art of the Start, if I were to guess, it would be the 10-20-30 rule of PowerPoint. The optimal number of slides in PowerPoint presentation is 10. You should be able to give that presentation in 20 minutes, and there should be no font smaller than 30 points. And if people in the world would just embrace that rule, this would be a better world. The other thing that has achieved notoriety is I tell people to make a mantra, not a mission statement. And a mantra is 2 or 3 words. Nike's mantra could be authentic athletic performance. eBay's mantra could be democratize commerce. Target democratizes design. And so my mantra is empower people. Sometimes I empower them as a venture capitalist. Sometimes I empower them as a speaker. Sometimes I empower them as a writer.
He speaks and tweets almost nonstop. Some wonder, is Kawasaki just another talking head? How much of this is just hot air?
If you were to look at my 1040, you would see the bulk of my income comes from speaking. And however, I don't consider myself a professional speaker. Not in the sense that like Tony Robbins is a real professional speaker, right? And so I happen to be a business person who writes and speaks.
The ideas inside Guy's writing and speaking continue to be informed by his day-to-day work at Garage Technologies.
In life, everything is a long grind. Yeah, sure, we would all like to have a Google. Yeah, and I would like to be Wayne Gretzky. But the point is, there's only one Wayne Gretzky. There's only one Google. Life isn't like that. A lot of people are not willing to grind it out. I am not only willing to grind it out, I love to grind it out.